Now then, how do I start this? So a little while ago, I made a video about a cartoon called Catching Up made by cartoon YouTuber LS Mark. That video surprisingly got a lot of views for my standards. Not only was the video ripping on a shoddy made animation, but also a critique of YouTubers' content. This was the closest thing people got to a terrible content review that year. It was a pretty fun video to make, even if I think some points should have been explained better, especially on the Watamote section where I could have gone deeper on the show itself, but this was a video about gooning around, so it was good enough, I guess. Now you may be thinking, why the fuck are you talking about this? Well, today's topic is a very similar case of the LS Sharp video where it's a YouTuber making something like a show, or in this case a game, and completely fucking it up. Meet Trollsome. He's a content creator, I think, whose main presence are on YouTube and Scratch. Yeah, Scratch. That website that your school forced you to use for some project about coding. You know the place. Well, anyway, Trollsome has been doing this for almost 18 years at this point. Although, to be fair, I think this might have been created by a family member before Trollsome took over with. And honestly speaking, this guy's entire YouTube channel is a whole pile of goy slop. I mean, who remembers such classics like Nano Block Watch, a red tractor,
but somebody left this old tractor on my property,
go-kart from my uncle's house, and most important of all, a Discord call with Big Jawed's friend who craved for a crushed grape float from. I genuinely do not know what does he get from uploading this. Like, I know he's obviously autistic, but this isn't even the typical go animate grounding train fucking nonsense. It is just kinda weird. I've never seen someone giving such a shit about something no one cares about. It's kinda obvious that the reason why he has 3.94 thousand subscribers is because of a single or a few videos that blew up out of nowhere, like Pac-Man in real life. Where's Skibo? But I also think the reason why he has this much subscribers is cuse of his Scratch presence. Now, Trollsome is kinda of a micro-celebrity in the Scratch circle. I mean, the fact that he has an entire wiki full of characters, and even fan characters, really says something. Entering his Scratch account, you can find animation.
You know what they say, all toasters toast toast.
Jesus, was this written by retarded kids?
These type of template things, you know, back then, I used go inside these Scratch projects and fuck around with it, and put a bunch of images I had and add it into the project. So maybe I can.
Choose your character!
Wow, such a masterpiece. Wait, it's missing something. Much better. Oh, and did I mention that this guy has a fetish for color clones? Yeah, I'm as confused as you. It's not even some weird hyperfixation thing. He literally admitted to it.
Colored clones are clones that have a variety of colors. They're often seen in Trollsome's Black's projects, and some people classify them as fetishes, although they are a lot less common than other fetishes.
At least colored clones are not as inflation fetishes.
True that, Polly.
Jesus Christ, these look like Finger Family, Elsa Gate, Content Farm Corpo slop. But the real shit that really matters here are the games. More specifically, the Trollsome game series. You see, I'm what you call a man of culture. I used to play a bunch of browser games, including Scratch games. I only played them when I was in school at the library because they blocked Flash game sites, so I played shit like Recreations of Mario games and Super Scratch Bros, a fighting game featuring So Retro, Pac-Man, Peppa Pig, and a fucking health bar. So playing these will truly be something. I actually played all games except for one on VC with a friend.
Are you ready to play Goy Slop?
And we were both sick at the time, so you can see how well this went. Trollsome 1, as you can clearly see, is the first game of the series. And the plot is basically good guy has to stop bad guy, so he has to kill all of the bad guy's 4 henchmen in order to stop the bad guy from taking over the world, I think. The game has 4 worlds with a boss in each of them, and a final boss at the end. The game plays like a shitty run and gun game, like Cuphead, or Mega Man to be more accurate. Because literally most of the ideas are stolen from that series, not only from how the game is set up, but also some of the characters are inspired, in big quotation, by of Mega Man, like Dr. White, the main fucking villain, more like Dr. Walter White. Instead of playing with the arrow keys, you have to play using the WASD keys, To some people, this might be uncomfortable to play because the only time this format is used is for FPS games. But for the longest time, I've played Flash games by using the WASD key format due to an incident once where I accidentally dropped milk in my grandma's computer, and that led to arrow keyboards not working. But what I can't forget is where the shooting key is set at. What do you think it's on? By clicking the mouse. The space bar, the E button. The one that is literally close to the control keys. This makes playing the game a little bit tricky, because you can literally mistake a button so you can jump instead of shot, or just not shot at all because you clicked the wrong key. Although, to be fair, the controls aren't the worst part. Even for how uncomfortable they are, it's easy to get to and controlling shit. Some isn't that bad. In the first few games, you see, for some reason in the later entries of the series, it's a bit more harder to jump properly. You know how in a platformer you can run and then jump, right? Well, in this, it's almost impossible to do it. Now you're supposed to jump and then move in order to go to a platform, or somehow pull a magic trick in order to pull a proper jump. Why did he make controlling the game slightly worse? I don't know. I'm not fucking Trollsome.
Trollsome Papito meme was made in 2019. Since then, everyone complained that the video had pedophilia because Polly is 12 years old, so I later removed it. It also made my friends pissed, and most of them decided to cut ties with me because of that.
Either way, how the game controls, the level design doesn't help the case. Since Trollsome can't programming scrolling, each part of level is on the screen, and you to go to the other side of the level to get into the next part of the level. Does this even make any grammatical sense? Point being is that the level design looks like a bunch of shit you thrown on MS Paint and call it a day, especially considering the fact that getting stuck on random platforms, or even the only way to get through a part of the level is glitching through the platforms in order to get to the end, if the only way you can beat the game is by doing a glitch, something that wasn't meant to be played by the game's rules, then you have totally done some good game design. Wow, Trollsome, you are such a fucking genius. Oh yeah, can we also mention that Trollsome is a terrible artist? If you take a look at his art style, you may think that, oh, he's just a dumb kid making his silly thing. He's an adult. I don't know how old Trollsome is, but from what I was told, this guy is a fucking adult. This fucking guy, a fucking adult. I'm literally 17 at the moment of making this. I can literally draw better than him. And I can't even program properly on fucking Scratch, so what's your excuse? You literally can't even draw a head. All you do is circle tool everything. Fucking football head looking ass. And the bosses, the fucking bosses. Each boss has a set of pattern that must be memorized, but I doesn't really matter. Why? Well, for some reason, Trollsome and his 108 IQ decided to give himself a ridiculous high amount of damage, and getting hit only caused to disappear 5 points of the health, and with the fact that the levels are ridiculously short, getting hit pretty much doesn't matter. 'Cause 9 out of 10 you will complete the level without problem. Really the only problem is a part of the level where it's almost impossible to travel to. It kinda shows you how there is no value beating any game of this series, because it's so ridiculously easy and so fucking mind-numbing, and dare I say brain-rotting, and I get it, these are shitty Scratch games made for retards. Yeah, I'm punching down on this lol, but this guy, who is an adult by the way, has been making these type of games for years, and the fact that he hasn't improved them not even a bit is kinda sad. And to prove that, then look no forward to Trollsome Remaster, a remaster of the first Trollsome game. Now, what things were changed in? It's the same thing, just with a few new things. Who would have guessed? There's a new mechanic that I forgot to tell you guys about, and that is the spin dash mechanic. Yeah, not only is Trollsome trying to copy Mega Man, but he's also trying to copy Sonker. This mechanic literally breaks the game. If the amount of lives in this wasn't ridiculous enough, then the spin dashing makes yourself almost invisible, and it makes traversing through stages much quicker. It's fucking ridiculous. It feels like a cheat code on a fictional game in a TV show. Oh yeah, and there's also voice acting in the cutscenes. Yes, there are cutscenes before starting a boss, or in the beginning, middle, or end of the game. Shut up. And they are...
What's the problem, Professor?
There are reports saying that Dr. White is sending his minions to go through Roseville City, and he's attempting to take over the world! You also defeat 4 enemies. I don't have time to explain them, but what I do know is that Dr. White's laboratory door was programmed to be open after you defeat all 4 of them. Now hurry up and get going! The fate of Roseville City depends on you!
I'm on it, Professor.
I'm sure Dingo Pictures would hire these guys if they were still in business. These games fucking suck, all of them. And if you are wondering why I'm not reviewing each game one by one, it's because they are all the fucking same. It's a mindless task of going forward, shooting something and repeating that for a billion years, and you beat the entirety of the Trollsome series. It's nothing but brain-rotting goy slop made for tiny, tiny babies who are into logos and grounding Kai-Yu. It's the game equivalent of Go Animate, but at least Go Animate videos can be funny ironically. Playing this felt like I was experiencing AIDS and testicle cancer. It's oddly specific, but it's just like the topic of the video. The only good positive that I can give is that while beating the first Trollsome game, I got the ending where Trollsome fucking dies because he couldn't escape the lab. This is the good ending to me.